Howdy all, Molex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so I'm on my way back home. I've had a couple of deaths here. I keep forgetting to switch my bed back to my home base. I made my levels. I can now make a bicycle, but I need some leather to make the bicycle. And I tried to punch a pig to death and it killed me, so that didn't happen. I actually recorded an episode, but I just wasn't anywhere near done saying the things I wanted to say, so I've started over to try and make it more concise. I want to talk about Westworld. I finished season 3 of Westworld yesterday. Uh, so spoilers. And I think I've already talked a bit about Westworld, but I want to talk about Westworld some more because I am confused as to what they were trying to do with this show. So short synopsis of the first season. Um, Westworld season 1, right? They're at the park. There's all these androids they call hosts. You kind of follow a few different ones. There's Dolores, there's Teddy, there's Maeve, and there's some humans involved too. But like, I don't understand anybody's motivations. Like, I get like greedy corporation. I can handle that. I get obsessed William. I understand him. I don't understand Ford, who is one of the creators of the host. I don't know what he was trying to do. Uh, but basically, the hosts are used and abused by people when they're flesh and blood at this point. They weren't originally, but they are now. And somebody, I don't know if it was Ford or if it was in their programming from the beginning, but somehow the hosts start accessing their previous memories. And what happens is when a host is used, abused, and killed, their mind is wiped and they're put back into their storyline. Like, basically every day they're wiped and they go back into their storyline. Not every day, but however long it takes for them to get through their storyline. They start at the beginning, they travel through the narration that was written for them, they get to the end, they're wiped. And so, do I have the stuff to make? I know I don't have my. I need to get my feathers so I can make some arrows, but I probably need to get some stone. I bet I don't have a lot of stone on me. I don't have any stone on me. Maybe I can just get a gun. So let's do that. Let's see if I've got a gun. I need to kill the pig or something, and I can't punch it to death. I tried. It didn't work. Do I have... I got a pistol. Some 9mm. It's the only one I got, but that might be enough to take out a pig. So, because they're because they're accessing their memories of their previous air quote lives, some of them can handle it, some of them can't. But it's allowing them to start to do things they're not supposed to do, like hurt people. And all right, I need some leather. I think I already said that, but this guy should get me the leather I need. I need 2. There we go. So that's all well and good, and I expected a host uprising against the people that are using and abusing them. And I thought maybe we would move to like where they're trying to escape into the real world kind of thing. You know, that's what I was expecting. That's kind of how the first season was playing out. And when you get to the end of the first season, one character, Maeve, she is she loves her daughter, and they she loves her daughter so much that it made her conscious, and so they wanted to. They couldn't control her. She was inconsolable when her daughter died, and so they decided I need two wheels, which I've got. The bicycle chassis, bicycle handlebars, and one mechanical part. So keep the mechanical parts, and everything else can go back in the box. And I decided I didn't need that. And so she got moved to a different storyline because she was inconsolable, and they couldn't handle her in her current storyline. And so then in the season, as it progresses, she has been programmed to escape the park. I don't know why. She just was. I thought she was the thing in season 2 that they needed. And it turned out that, oh, do I do that in here? Is that still in here? No, I think I could have just done that anywhere. And because they talk about how one of the hosts is supposed to leave the park, and so I thought it was her, but it turned out to be this other guy. And so I don't know who programmed her to escape. She just was programmed to escape. Somebody programmed her. They never explained it. They never explained it. They never explained who's programming these hosts to do things. And then you get to the end of season 1, and Ford has been told he has to retire. All right, there we go. There's a bike. It's going to take a bit to get to something better than a bike, but a bike is better than nothing. So let's get this down. Oh, you know what? Let's get this down so that I can stop having to run all the way back. So Ford programs is told he has to retire. I don't know if this is because he was told he had to retire, or if this is just what he had planned all along. But Ford decides he is going to kill all the board members of the company that run the park who are currently at the park for a gala event. And so he does. It includes himself in that list of people to be killed. And so they do. They kill Ford, and they kill a bunch of the board members. And so season 2, oh, and then Maeve, who is programmed to escape, who has been told she's programmed to escape, is on the train at the very end, just as it's about to leave, and realizes she can't leave her daughter behind. And so she gets off the train, which is against her programming, which is why I like Maeve, because she does seem alive. I mean, the people are playing these parts, of course they seem alive, but the other character, Dolores, is a nut job who may not be operating against her programming. She's supposed to be like there's all indications that Dolores doesn't follow her programming, but I have my doubts about that. Dolores is an awful character. She's the main character basically practically of the show, and I can't stand her. She's a monster, and she doesn't start out that way. And so I'm kind of rooting for her. I want her to get her freedom and whatnot, but then you find out that this isn't what makes her a monster. The original creator, Arnold, has combined her programming with a crazy cultist madman named Wyatt. Well, I don't know if he's a man, but mad person named Wyatt. And uh, and had her kill off all the other hosts and then himself. And I'm not sure how free Dolores is and how much is Wyatt. And so Dolores decided that because Wyatt is a cult leader and Dolores thinks that everything's about her, which would be a cult leader. And so Dolores decides that she doesn't care what any of the other hosts wants. She's going to decide who gets to go to the Valley Beyond, um, which is a thing that she tries to destroy. And maybe she didn't try to destroy it, but she didn't believe that any other hosts should go there. And so she hid it so that no one else could have access to it but herself. I think. And they had collected all this data on the people who attended the park, and she didn't want anyone to have that data, so she deleted that data. I'm not sure what that had to do with anything, but she decided nobody should have access to the data on the humans, that she's decided she has to kill off all humans because humans and hosts can't share a world. Um, and uh, and so she is going to kill all humans. That's her new goal. Uh, and so, um, yeah, she's not nice. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be some revenge involved. I mean, there shouldn't be revenge involved. You should never revenge. But this is a bit extreme. Because not everybody was terrible to her. So I don't understand her thought process that someone was mean to me, so I have to be mean to all other people in existence. And so, yeah. And so by the end of season 2, Maeve basically sacrifices herself to make sure that as many of the hosts as possible who want to can go into this digital world that's been made just for them. Dolores doesn't want them to go there at all, so she changes the holding or the saving place for the world. And then the thing to me that made Dolores a monster, like, okay, fine, she's super angry, she wants to kill off all humans, I get it. They were horrible to her, not all of them, but a lot of the ones she met maybe were horrible to her. Gotcha. So she's angry, she wants revenge, gotcha. But she's angry not because they were horrible to her necessarily, but because the hosts aren't allowed to have freedom. And that's fine. That's a good reason to have a crusade, I guess. But then she turns around and overwrites hosts to do her will without a second thought. There's no, should I do this? There's no, I've got to do this or else, we can't do this thing. Let me control you for this. No. There's this robot, and this is not robot. There's this android host, whatever you want to call it, Teddy. And Teddy loves her. Teddy will do anything for her because Teddy loves her. And he has killed so many people for her. Uh, but Teddy's a nice guy, and she tells Teddy that she doesn't need a nice guy, and so she overwrites his programming to turn him into a killer like she is because she doesn't want a nice guy. She doesn't care that Teddy loves her because I don't. Nope. You can just stay in there. Actually, I've got a gun. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You're doing the exact same thing. You just turned him into something he's not. And so eventually he kills himself because he tells her he doesn't want to be the monster that she's turned him into. And she doesn't care. I mean, she's like a little sad that, I mean, she's known Teddy like almost her entire existence, and he basically has loved her their entire existence together. She don't care. Uh, and and she's like wants to kill Maeve and stop her from getting to her daughter. Wants to destroy the digital world because it's just another cage by the humans. And it's like, well, it doesn't have to be. It's a blank world that no human has ever set foot in. Um, that a lot of the hosts wanted to go to. They wanted their West world, but without the human interference, and that's what the other world offered, the digital world that they were uploaded into. But Dolores doesn't like that, not at all. No, and I don't know what happened to them. I know they do access that world again, but Dolores is the only one with the key, and she won't tell any of the other hosts. Like Maeve. Maeve wants to know where her daughter's at, and Dolores won't tell her. Dolores won't send her there either. Um, and uh, and so then we get to season 3. Maeve gets shot down at the end of season 2. A bunch of the hosts go into the Valley Beyond, they call it, and Dolores has destroyed all this data that the company wanted, and then I'm pretty sure she was going to destroy the Valley Beyond, and this other host, Bernard, stopped her. And so then we get to season 3, which is where it gets confusing. Season 3 is in the real world, I think, and it's in the future, quite a ways in the future. And this is one of my friends asked me how Westworld was going because he hasn't seen it. I'm like, oh, I'm almost the end of season 3, and it's basically AI versus AI versus AI versus AI versus crazy rich guy versus crazy rich guy. And no matter who wins, humanity loses. Uh, because it just got super crazy there at the end. I mean, it's not over. I think there's another season coming. But oof, it's been insanity getting here because they they've got uh, they've got this computer that they built, and the computer is controlling everyone's lives. Only they don't know it. Some people know it, but the common everyday person doesn't know that their life is being controlled by this computer, Reboam or something like that. Uh, and um, and so what had happened was the same thing that Dolores is trying to do, basically. Uh, Paris was destroyed when this guy was a kid, and so he doesn't want anyone to suffer like he suffered. And so him and his brother make this computer that uses the data from Westworld to learn to accurately predict what people are going to do, like down to what they're going to say, almost, and which is very possible, and so the computer projects forward based on what everybody is going to do to see what the future is going to be like. And in a certain number of years, humanity wipes itself out. And I don't remember what the brother who basically, you know what, the storyline for 3 is the same storyline for season 1, but with people instead of hosts. So in season 1, you find out that Ford and Arnold made the hosts. Arnold wanted the hosts to, he felt they were alive and they should do their own thing. And Ford decided that they should be controlled and used in the theme park. And so Arnold killed himself. I mean, they're not the same, but they're similar. Arnold killed himself to try and stop Ford because he thought killing himself would stop them from opening it as a park. So in season 3, you got these two brothers who witnessed the destruction of Paris and became obsessed with predicting what people were going to do. And so they built this computer, Reboam, or this artificial intelligence, Reboam, and they fed it data from Westworld, and it accurately predicts what people are going to do. And so the one brother, I don't remember why he wanted to do something different with it, but the other brother, and I can't, Serac is their last name. Serac, the one brother, kills the other brother so that, I mean, not directly, I don't believe. I think he had him institutionalized. Um, but so that he can use the computer to control everyone on the planet. And so over the course of season 3, you find out that this computer is having people removed from society because they are unpredictable. And it can't have that because if too many unpredictable things happen, then humanity will destroy itself. And so into this mix, you throw Dolores and Maeve and Bernard. And Dolores wants to destroy humanity. And so she wants to shut down the computer because without the computer, according to the computer, everyone will die. And she doesn't care who gets hurt while she gets to her chosen goal of killing all of humanity. And so, but she also like brought Bernard out of the park and gave Bernard the key to the digital world. But I don't know what Bernard's supposed to do with it. She says Bernard has a purpose. But Dolores is still evil. I don't care if she occasionally does something good, she's still super evil. And like instead of bringing other people with her, because she kept telling all the hosts that she was going to bring them with her into the real world, instead she just made copies of herself and put them in different bodies. And um, and then she screwed over her own self on a couple of different occasions. And so by the end of season 3, Maeve still doesn't have her daughter. Uh, Maeve felt that humans should make their own choice. Maybe, I don't know. She apparently had a moment with Dolores and came to an understanding. And so Dolores now, or Dolores is, main Dolores is dead. And there's at least two copies of Dolores still out there. And Maeve stops the human that Dolores picked to end humanity from being killed, and then lets him choose what's going to happen. And so he deletes the computer. So now there's no computer to stop the end of the world from happening, maybe? And it showed him, it told him they had 23 years. There'd be massive death events, a couple of them, and then society would collapse in 23 years without the computer guiding people from whatever it is people were going to do. And yeah, and then it ended with Arnold going into the digital world and then coming back out of it, but a long time later because he's covered in dust. I don't know how he managed to sit in the motel room that long, but he did. And they showed one of the copies of Dolores activating a copy of the man who was most abusive to her to kill his human self. And then the lights came on into a room full of printers for new hosts. So I'm very confused by season 3. I couldn't get into it. Season 1 was pretty good because it sets up this whole world, but then it got weird at the end of the season. Season 2 I liked a whole lot better because it was like multiple sides conflicting, and I felt like everybody had a clear-cut goal. And season 3 was just bizarre because who won season 3? I can't tell. Maeve didn't get what she was after. Dolores was just evil at that point. The dude who just destroyed the computer knowing that he's probably killing humanity. And I mean, not that I'm saying that humanity should be as controlled as they were showing in the show, but couldn't they have found some way to set up the computer as a guide for people rather than destroying it? Be like, if you make these choices, these are the things that will happen. The computer doesn't directly control people anyways, not in that sense. Instead, what it did was um, it would look at a person, and if they were going to cause issues on a major scale, it would just remove their opportunities. So like the main character was one of those people who was going to cause problems on a huge scale, and so it did things like deny him jobs so that he had to take the jobs it wanted him to take to keep him out of the way of other things that he would cause problems for. Which is a kind of control, but it wasn't good, but it wasn't the death of humanity. You know what I mean? And so it's a very fine line, and I don't feel like it was as black and white as they tried to make it out to be. And having a computer that understands humanity that could, I don't know, continue to offer advice on how to adapt to things that were happening seemed to me to be beneficial, as opposed to let's wipe it all out and just stick our heads back in the sand until we're all dead. Um, I don't know. And then Maeve still didn't get it to her daughter. Because they don't know where the key is, and they don't know where the digital world has been sent to, because Dolores changed the coordinates. I mean, Dolores still knows, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it's hard to watch that show in season 3 because there are clearly no good guys. I couldn't fully root for anybody in season 3. In season 2, I could root for Maeve. Um, she might not have always done good things, but at least I understood where she was going, and the thing she was going for was a good thing. I don't know. All right. With that, I'm going to call it a day. So be better than the small things, lean into the light, and I will talk to you later.